Question?
You have that board over there.
Oh, yeah, I'll get that. All right, so here we go. We have a negative in front of y plus 66. So, we're in section 1.8. What do we do when we have a negative in front of parentheses like that? Do you remember? What's it do?
You drop the wall and let the water flood into all the other.
Exactly. I like that. That's exactly how I say it. Yeah, it's like water outside of a floodgate, huh? It's exactly what it is. Water sitting at the wall of the dam, and they let the dam wall down, and the water floods in, hits them both, right? Negative y, negative 66. It just like anything outside of a parenthesis, when the walls come down, the water goes in. Exactly. Okay, so 4x plus 2y minus 7 parenthesis. 4x minus 8y plus 6z. Okay. So, what in this problem, what is right up against the parenthesis wall? The negative 7, huh? So that negative 7 is going to go boom, boom, and boom. That negative 7 will multiply those two. The 4x plus 2y just stays as it is, no change there. But the negative 7 is going to multiply the other three. So minus 28x plus 56y minus 42z. Good so far? So the walls came down, didn't they? Whenever something from the outside goes in, the walls drop down. So now, let's combine like terms. So 4x and minus 28x. Minus 24x. And then 2y and 56y. 58y. And then the 42z just stays by itself. And there we go. Questions on that one? Six bracket 7 minus 4 parentheses 4 minus 9. Yeah. Remember the order of operations? Have you heard of those before? Yeah, the please excuse Madeira and Sally or PEMDAS. Let me write that out. So, P stands for problems inside parentheses. What does E stand for?
Exponents.
Exponents, powers. That wasn't the right spelling. Exponents. And then multiplying and dividing, adding and subtracting. Yeah, so that's the order of operations. So in other words, we don't just go left to right. We do things in the PEMDAS order. So so what does that mean? Where am I going to go first? It says problems inside parentheses. It's important to note that P doesn't just say parentheses. It's not just any parentheses anywhere. It's when there's a problem inside parentheses. Am I making any sense? So for example, like what if here, let me give you, this example helps a lot of people. What if somebody gave me that? 10 divided by 5 times 2. 10 divided by 5 times 2. What would I do first there?
The one you see first would be 10 divided by 5.
5 times 2.
Do I do the 5 times 2? Or do I do the 10 divided by 5?
5 times 2.
Multiplication left to right.
Parentheses are first, but not these kind of parentheses. You do the divide first. You guys are saying divide first or right. You do not do the parentheses first here. Why not? Because it's not a problem inside parentheses. In other words, if it was like 1 plus 1, then yeah, make that a 2 first. So that's what that P means. That makes sense. It doesn't just mean anytime you got parentheses anywhere. No. It means if there's a problem that's not yet finished inside of parentheses, first finish that problem. That's what the P means. When we say the P is first, we don't just mean parentheses. That's what a lot of people think. We mean problems inside parentheses. So yeah, if there was a problem in there, we would certainly do that first. But that's not what this is not a problem. This is just times, huh? Here they're just mean, it would be the same thing as if it just said, that parentheses is just meaning 5 times 2, really. That's all it's meaning there. So what, but still, shouldn't we do it first? No, notice M and D are on the same level. Notice I did not write it. I did not write the PEMDAS like this. I didn't write it like that. Why? Because I wanted to emphasize M and D are the same as each other. And A and S are the same as each other. Well, okay, so multiplying and dividing are the same. When two things are the same, whichever one's on the left comes first. So you see this dividing operation and this multiplying operation are the same level of priority. So you just do them from left to right. So who comes first on the left? The dividing comes first. So you actually divide first, and the answer is 4. Whereas if you multiplied first, it would be 10 divided by 10. It would be 1. That'd be different, huh? Everybody see that? So I wanted to show you what is meant. Anyway, let's do the actual problem that's before us. So the actual problem before us, so what am I going to do first in this problem? Do I have any problems inside parentheses? Yeah, certainly do this time, huh? 4 minus 9? Negative 5. Good, now keep everything else in place. Good to there? So far so good? Okay, next. 7 minus 4, 3. And that's wrong. That's the mistake that people do most often. That is wrong. What did I do wrong? I didn't follow PEMDAS. How did I not? Think about the life of 4. In the world of 4 here, this 4. He's being asked to do 2 things. 4, we'd like you to subtract from 7. But that's not all. We'd also like you to what? Multiply by negative 5. So he's being asked to subtract, and he's being asked to times. Which one comes first? Multiply is above subtraction. Don't do that subtraction. Not yet. Not yet. So that's the mistake. It's just tempting. It's just right there. You just want to go 3. But you have to go 4 times 5. And 2 negatives. This is negative 4 and negative 5. 2 negatives? Positive 20. You got to do that first. Multiplying is before adding, subtracting. Does that make sense? On that? And then, and let me show some more of the mistakes. Sometimes, here's the other mistake I see people make. I'll see people make it a 20 like that. They'll go, 4 times 5 is 20, and now 7 times 20. No, that's wrong. See how it was subtracting here? Subtracting will stay subtracting, or if you change the sign, it'll become adding. But it'll never become times. Everybody see that? Adding, subtracting will remain adding and subtracting. It'll just change positive or negative. But it will never become multiplying. In other words, you got to keep some sign in the middle here. It'll just become positive. And you don't need these parentheses anymore. Why do I need the parentheses? Because something from the outside multiplied in. Remember, when something from the outside hits a parenthesis, they drop. The wall drops. So it becomes adding. Everybody see that? Because 2 negatives make positive, make it adding. And now, what do we do next? Brackets are the same as parentheses. Whatever we say about parentheses, brackets are the same. Brackets are just a different style of parentheses. All the rules are the same. Brackets are parentheses. So you gotta finish the problem in the parentheses first, don't you? Or the problem in the brackets, same thing. Lastly, what's in the middle of these two? Nothing. It's times, isn't it? What's that? 120 and 40? 162? Thank you. There it is. Does that make sense, how we did those operations? You know the whole PEMDAS thing? You get a 3x5 card for the exam next week. You can bring that with you at the practice exam, too. Get a 3x5 card. With that 3x5 card, you could write PEMDAS on it if you want to. But really, it doesn't matter. Whether you memorize PEMDAS or have it written down. Most people instinctively do PEMDAS correctly, except for one mistake. The only I've had tons of students that write PEMDAS on their paper and then mess up anyway. Having PEMDAS memorized or written down really isn't the main thing. Math and science isn't about memorizing. It doesn't really help you a lot. It's mainly about understanding. Here's the main thing you want to understand. Here's the only thing people mess up on. Adding, subtracting is last. If you just remember that, probably the rest you'll be fine with. Just remember the ending of PEMDAS. It's going to add, subtract, last. So that's what, when you're looking right here, this is the mistake most people make. They subtract that too quick. Just remember, adding, subtracting is always last on that. Okay. Okay. So let me rewrite that a little bigger. So 3. They're using curly brackets. Same thing. Curly brackets, regular brackets, parentheses. It's all just fancy parentheses. Doesn't matter. It's just a grouping symbol. All right, so there we go. So where do you start on the inside? So in other words, I would start this 4, go boom, boom, and multiply those two. Right, start right there. 4b minus 16. Make that a little cleaner. Plus 18. And notice I'm going to keep everything else there. I dropped off the parentheses. These are gone because something from the outside went in. That's whenever we drop symbols, right? When something from the outside of them goes in. That good, and then over here also. That 3 is going to distribute in. Be 6b minus 9. And I drop the parentheses, don't I? Because something from the outside went in. Whenever something from the outside goes in, we drop them. So far, so good? Can you do the next step? Like you could combine these two. They're like terms. Minus 16 plus 18. Going to be positive 2. So far, so good. Keep going. Minus 9 plus 2 is minus 7. We good to there. What's our next step? Yeah, we work in here first. Yeah, that negative is up against the wall. It's really like a -1 right there. And it's going to go boom and boom, isn't it? It's a -1 up against the bracket there. It's going to go boom and boom. So do that, and then the bracket will drop off, won't it? And what's in front of the other bracket? I mean, right, not the curly bracket, but right where I put the question mark. What's right here in front? Nothing. So these brackets you can just drop off. And just go 4b, because there was nothing in front of them. We still have the curly bracket. We'll do that in a minute. But I mean, just the brackets. I drop them because there's nothing in front. The other ones I drop, and the -1 goes in. So I drop these guys, and the -1 goes in. Everybody see that? So whenever there's something in front, the walls come down, the water goes in, and this was a dry floodgate. Nothing in front of the wall there. So you just lower the floodgate, nothing happens. Good to there. Now, can you gather like terms inside the curly brackets?
The 4b and the 6b.
Yeah. So 4b minus 6b. Yeah. So it'd be minus 2b. And then 2 minus 7, or 2 plus 7 is plus 9. Still have the 3 in the front. You're all good to there? Last step, remember curly brackets, just like parentheses. If it bugs you, just think of it like a big parenthesis. What's going to happen? The 3 is going to go in, and the curly brackets will drop. So we'll get minus, it's going to multiply, right? Minus 6b plus 27. And there we go. Is that okay? Follow with all that mess? Probably the hardest stuff in chapter 1, these things. They get even a little more messy, if you can believe it, than that. All right, I'll move on if you're okay. These will be on YouTube later if you want to watch it again and slow it down and back it up, and it'll all be on YouTube. Okay, let me rewrite it here. So 8, curly bracket, regular bracket, 4, a minus 5 plus 17 minus 2 parenthesis 3a minus 3 plus 2 bracket, curly bracket. There we go. So give that a try. Start on the inside and work your way out. Let's see. So starting on the inside here, distribute 4a minus 1. I'm going to drop off the parentheses because something from the outside of the parentheses went in. That's when you drop the floodgate, water goes in. Now over here, the 2, just the 2 is going to go in. 6a minus 6, drop the parentheses because something from the outside of the parentheses went in. That good? So far so good? Now, combine like terms, minus 20 plus 17. So what's that going to be? Minus 3. And then here, minus 6, so bring down the 6a. So minus 6 plus 2 is minus 4, isn't it?
Right.
So
far, so good to there. Questions? Yeah.
So we definitely want to distribute that. I mean, could we distribute that minus now, or do we need to wait?
This much right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, now's the time.
No, in the step before.
Oh, you could have done the step where it's okay. Yeah.
It wouldn't change the
It
outcome.
wouldn't change the outcome. Right. And gather like terms later. It's okay. Yeah, it's always your option. Good question. Yeah, earlier or now, either one. Yeah, now this minus sign or earlier needs to distribute because it's outside the floodgate, right? So the walls, the bracket walls are coming down. The minus, the water's rushing in. Minus, it's really like a minus 1, right? Minus 6a plus 4. Good for that one. The minus went in and hit the 6a, hit the minus 4. Now, what's right here in front of that bracket? Nothing. Nothing at all. So I'm going to just...
Can't see it.
I'm just going to say there's nothing there, so just drop the walls. It's like a dry floodgate. Nothing's in front. Just lower the wall, nothing happens. That makes sense there? There was nothing in front. Is that good? Now, combine like terms. 4a minus 6a makes minus 2a. And then minus 3 plus 4 makes plus 1. Like that. We good to there? Yeah. 2a, yeah, minus 2a. 4a minus 6a makes minus 2a. Like that. And then that 8 goes boom, boom, and multiplies in. And then I drop That's the last of the walls that are dropping off. Because something from the outside of the curly brackets is going in. The walls come down, the water rushes in. Minus 16a plus 8. How many got it? How'd you do? It's good. It's maybe about half, a little under half. It's a messy one. Questions I can answer. So more than half of you, or about half of you missed it. Something I can say to help? Any little things? Just to see where you went wrong if you made a little mistake? All's good? All right. Well, these just take practice. All right. So let's try that one. Let's go ahead and work that one out real quick. A little bit easier, but it does have a trap. They're trying to trap you. So be careful. Follow the order of operations and you'll be fine. Just go left to right and you'll fall into the trap. Remember the order of operations. PEMDAS, because when you're at salad.
Did you do the subtraction?
It's about what needs to be done first.
Oh, that's right.
So what needs to be done first?
Multiplication.
Yeah, you have to do that first, huh? They're trying to tempt you. They're baiting the hook. They want you to bite. They want you to subtract 18 minus 4 first. But remember, the main thing, like I said, you don't have to memorize PEMDAS. Just remember what's last. Adding, subtracting. Adding, subtracting. The first operation you ever learned as a kid, right? Remember back when math was easy? Remember when you were a kid, they were just adding, and then it was subtracting. Those were the days, right? That's the lowest operation. That's the last operation. Adding, subtracting. So do that. If you just remember that's last, you'll probably be fine with the PEMDAS. You only need to memorize PEMDAS. The rest will come naturally. Just remember, adding, subtracting is last. So multiply this first. That's going to be minus 44, isn't it? When you multiply those guys. And then, just use your calculator. Just subtract that. Tell me what the answer is, please. Minus 26. Negative 35? Great. There we go. Is that good? Remember, adding, subtracting is last, and you'll be fine. All right, I'm going to move on. Okay, yeah, that's a divide. Let me make it a little bigger. Well, I can't even tell what that first one is. What is that first one? Oh, they're both divides. I couldn't even tell. Okay. All right, they're both divides. Let me make that simpler for y'all. So it's 6 divide negative 2. That's a divide. And the other one is also divide. It does, yeah. You can, on the Math Excel homework, you can see it better than on this projector. They're both divides. I should have made it bigger. Anyway, so they're both divides. So, what should we do first? It doesn't really matter.
The one inside the...
Well, I guess it does. Yeah, totally. Do the one inside the brackets here first. Do this one. So what is 6 divided by negative 2?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Is everybody okay with that? So far, so good. Right, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. And positive divided by, it's a positive regular 6, huh? Positive divided by negative is negative. Remember how that works? Multiply and dividing. 2 negatives make a positive. 1 negative is just negative. So, good to there so far? Now, how do you divide by a fraction?
The one underneath.
Yeah, what is it called? Keep, change, flip, right?
Yep.
So keep, change, flip. So keep this, negative 3. Change this. What do you change divide to?
Multiply.
Multiply. And flip the one on the right. Keep, change, flip. That's how we do divide. Keep, change, flip. Now it's multiplying. So I got a whole number, negative 3, multiplying by a fraction. What do you do when a whole number is interacting with a fraction?
You just put the 1 and change
Put it over 1. Make it look like a fraction. Just helps you do the problem, huh?
and multiply.
2 negatives multiply to be
Positive.
positive.
15.
3 times 5 on the top is 15. 1 times 1 on the bottom is 1. We never leave 1s on the bottom, though. The answer is just 15. That good?
Yeah.
So just put that over 1, multiply top, bottom. So it's 15.
I feel like the test will not, if we have this calculator, we skip all that, right?
Great, yeah, the Casio Natural Display, when they're pure numbers, can just whip it out as long as you type it in correctly, yeah. All right, so 2 to the 4th power plus 2 to the 3rd minus 16. That is plus, isn't it? Okay, yeah, that is plus. So you can do that in your calculator if you want. 2 to the 4th means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Plus 2 to the 3rd means 2 times 2 times 2. And then, of course, minus 16. So this is, what's this? 16, 8 minus 16. Answer is just 8 because these guys cancel. Is that too quick? Is that good? There's also a power button. If you want to use your power button, you can do that. You guys know about the power button? It's different. In some calculators, it's like x to the y. 2 to the power 4 equals. You type in that. Some calculators, it's an up arrow. Type it in like that. 2 to the 4th power. It should come out 16. Either way you do it. So you can do it that way. Or you can just go 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Just do 4 of them. Either way you prefer on your calculator. If you want help with that, grab me after calculator stuff. If you're having trouble finding it on your particular calculator. It's a good idea to bring your calculator to class rather than just using your cell phone, because in the test you can't use a cell phone because you can text answers to each other. So you got to use this regular calculator. So make sure you're comfortable with that. You'll bring it to class and you could practice using it. Yeah.
So I get what you did with the cross canceling, but then what happens to the negative? It just disappears.
Yeah, well, because this is positive 16 and negative 16. So they make 0, so it's really just 8 plus 0.
Okay.
Well, it is, yeah. Is that crazy?
No.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm just wagering with my mouth. But let's see. Let's give it a try. Don't talk to each other. Just work it out real quick. So there's a trick here. This was a trick one. So the answer is either, let's see, whatever, 17 or minus 33, right? So it's either, so let's just say this is answer A, this is answer B. So and it's one of those two, right? I assume you all got one of those two
No.
answers. No? Well, it is one of those two. All right, so you ready? We'll take a survey. How many say answer A?
Oh, it is.
How many got? Was that more than half? Look around. Look around. Is that more than half the class? And you're wrong. So I was right. More than half the class missed it. It's answer B.
What?
See, there's a trick.
How?
So what's the trick? The trick is great. Yes. What's the trick? Let me get in your mind. I bet you're thinking this way. You guys are thinking, Mr. Heron, negative 5 squared, 2 negatives, positive 25. Wrong. What? What's wrong? Here's the trick. It's really a dumb little trick, but I want to make sure I showed it to you. There is a difference between this and this. Those are not the same. This one means 2 negatives, and yes, indeed, is positive 25. This one, the negative just sits there, and only the 5s are repeated on that. Tim, all right. You want to write your hours up, and then I'll introduce you in just a second. All right. So everybody see that difference? So the trick is, you want to write them up over there? Sure. And then I'll introduce you and stuff. So, so the whole deal is when there's parentheses, that's when you do 2. So here's let me make this simple. A 2 power, or any power, on something, it only repeats the number. See, only the 5 is repeated, not the minus sign. Which is weird, isn't it? You would think it means 2 minus 5s, but really it only means 2 5s, not 2 minuses. Unless parentheses extend its influence. Does that make sense? I don't know what. Is there a name? The power rule, exponent rule, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so you got to watch out. It can trick you. So this negative just stays there, and this is negative 25 minus 8, so it is negative 33. Does that make sense? So again, when do you make two negatives? Let me say it simpler this way. When do you make two negatives? Parentheses. You only repeat the 5 itself, not the minus sign. There's only one minus, not two, unless there's parentheses. Parentheses say 2 of this whole thing. So that's positive, yeah. Everybody see that difference?
Yeah.
So that's the trick.
They should have told me. Just
All
do
right.
another obvious.
That's kind of a dumb little trick, but you got to remember it. So negative signs do not repeat unless there's parentheses. Let's try this challenge. What do those straight lines mean? Let me rewrite it a little bigger here. What are those straight lines?
That means anything outside of it's possible.
Yeah, absolute value. Let me read the whole thing here first.
After the braces, is it a division?
Oh, I don't know. Is it?